Good evening, Neurodivergent Nation. So you've probably been asked this kind of standard but very loaded question. The question is, what do you do for work? I've heard it, right, Ashton? What do you do for work?
My most recent job was an apparel marketing technician for a Fortune 500 company.
All right. Anyway, this may seem like a friendly inquiry, but isn't it really just a way to judge you, and it's disguised as an icebreaker to see if you're going to be somebody that they should give respect to in the time of day to? What do you think? And is it always a covert form of judgment? I ask people this question in the course of a clinical interview because it is pertinent to the reason that they're there, but I am not judging, and I try not to ask this question outside my office, but I impulsively slip up sometimes. However, I have noticed that when I've asked this question, I usually do it for efficiency reasons. So when I talk to somebody about something, I want to see if I'm going to need to talk in a way that matches their experiences. That doesn't mean talking down to or dumbing down or anything like that. It's actually more like, do I need to explain something if they already have a big knowledge of it? Another reason I like to find out about someone's background, which can include work, is because I've always been fascinated by people. So the more I know about them, the more interesting the conversation can be, and I'm more entertained, and it makes my time being in a social situation a little more pleasant. People are fun to learn about sometimes, although I have noticed that lately that has been wearing off. So whether or not you're asking this question to quickly judge, to entertain yourself, or to be efficient, we should consider what it might be doing to the person that you're asking. For many people, especially those who are autistic or are ADHD or are neurodivergent in other ways, if they are struggling in the employment realm, this question, what do you do for work? That can make them feel awkward, and it can trigger shame and embarrassment and a sense of inadequacy, or even open them up to vulnerability that they may not have even asked for or seen coming. Okay, so let's just be upfront about this. Our society places way too much emphasis on making money or having a job that is respected or has some sort of major impact on something. But I do find it interesting how much respect people get simply based on their job or how much money they make, and not who they actually are as people. Research shows that people often use job titles as a proxy for someone's status or intelligence and even their overall worth as a person. So for instance, a person who makes $250,000 a year is often respected no matter what line of work they're in, even if they own a used car lot or they pick up dog turd for a living. So the respect comes from how much money they make. Then there is the stay-at-home parent who, if they have money, they seem to be admired and revered by some people, but if they don't have money, they're often looked at as simply unemployed or unable to afford childcare. Weird, huh? And then we have our frontline food warriors, the humble yet unappreciated school cafeteria worker who earns $55,000 a year and typically are not revered by anybody for what they do, even though their role is absolutely crucial to the success of the children. What do all these roles have in common? None of them have anything to do with the person and who they actually are. They are judged based solely on their job titles. So remember the last time you were at a theme park and somebody walked by you with a broom and a sweeper pan cleaning up trash off the ground? I remember them well because I often wonder and imagine who they are and what their lives are like at home. Do they have grandkids? What do they like to eat for dinner? I also want to know about the history of $1 million a year attorney. I'm sure they don't eat at all. They rather get their nutrition intravenously and live in some sort of bat cave. I don't know. My buddy who's an attorney makes the best barbecue I've ever had, and his backyard is like a theme park, but I digress. Research suggests that defining people by their job title can lead to a narrow view of their potential and worth. So unfortunately, this whole "what do you do" question is just a way for so many people to try to determine quickly what your socioeconomic status is and how they should think of you as a person. It's not at all about having a genuine interest in you, is it? One study published in the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders revealed that a high number of autistic adults have significantly greater challenges with employment, including difficulties with social interaction, communication, and sensory processing, which can be totally overwhelming, which can, lead to burnout and possibly the loss of wages or their job or worse. Oh my gosh. I was like, my back is burning, this freaking light right here. It was touching my back. I was like, man, I'm having hot flashes or something. And the funny part is I said that right when I said lead to burnout. For those with ADHD, maintaining focus and meeting deadlines and organizing work, coping with the demands of a structured environment, or being tasked with repetitive, monotonous, boring work can be difficult to keep that job. Like I said, a lot of autistic people have difficulty with employment in some ways. And unfortunately, it's a grim set of numbers, but the unemployment rate for autistic individuals has been reported to be between 30 and 85%. But when you compare that with the national average, that's only 4%. You can really see the disparity here. For those who are differently employed...
Wait. What does differently employed mean?
It means having a job that isn't really traditional or not a standard job, like being a social media influencer or a dog walker. Differently employed. Or for those who are unemployed or misemployed or underemployed. Basically, if you don't meet their expectations of who they want to talk with, this whole "what do you do?" question can feel bad. So if we don't like this, let's ask better questions and give better answers.
So what would be a good alternative to answer this question?
So if we don't want our job titles to define us, then maybe we can lead the person asking the question to a different place with the conversation, which may be more interesting to everyone involved. Everyone wins. What if the other person says, "What do you do for work?" Let's say you're a vet clinic volunteer, okay? You could say, "I've loved animals my whole life, and my day is filled with so much joy being able to help sick kittens and dogs who are really in need of some love and care." Or, if you wanted to be a little more realistic with it, you'd be like, "Yeah, I get bit and scratched a lot, and I clean up a lot of dog crap." Another person, they might ask, "Yeah, so where do you work?" Let's say you're somebody who is looking for part-time work, okay? You could say, "Not where, but how do I work?" That's a more compelling question. Why, some might focus on the technical aspects of the tech world. I tend to focus on the human impact, exploring ways in which we can utilize tech as more than just tools or processes. To me, this can be done by, and then you could go on and on. Conversation continues from there. Or, I've been trying out all the different taco places over the past few months just to try to find the best, and that place on 64th is pretty sweet. What about you? You been to any good taco places lately?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Okay, so these are just two examples, and they put the more meaningful content first, and it sets the listener's mind to understand that you're more than your job title, and you will not be reduced to being a product of ignorance or undeterminable value. You're a person with unique characteristics and a background that deserves to be understood beyond the simple question, "What do you do?" which translates to, "Should I respect you or not based on how much money or influence you have on others?" That's really what they're saying, right? So I've worked with thousands of people diagnosed with ADHD and autism over the years, and I know something really cool. The neurodivergent people I've worked with are the most incredible, the most kind, even when they come off rude to others. They're the most witty, and they're the funniest people I've ever met, and many of them are misemployed or underemployed or unemployed. Many don't have conventional jobs, and unfortunately, they don't get the same cracks at opportunities as those who play the employment game by going to work and coming home and cashing a paycheck as the unwritten rules go. Most fill their time with creative work that they may not get money for. Many are doing work that actually solves problems, and society may not have a place for them in their work yet because the world is still stuck in some industrial revolutionary style work system. Most importantly, my neurodivergent friends are often silently doing things, and they're making real and meaningful contributions to this world, to their friends online and in person, in online communities that need their skills and talents and passions. From art to music that bring light to others' lives, to technology that improves the lives of others in some way, to humanistic work like making YouTube videos, to helping animals like volunteering or fostering pets or creating nonprofits that work to save them. These are all passions that many people have that transcend what the word has deemed as an acceptable use of time, just because it doesn't make $250,000 a year. These are the neurodivergents who are really moving society forward in a very meaningful way, and they go beyond paychecks and status. Now, those are the stories of the people that I really want to hear about and hang out with. Seriously, please share in the comments below what it is that brings light to your life that may not be the standard answer that people are fishing for when they ask, how much money do you make? So remember, my neurodivergent friends, the next time you're asked, what do you do for work? Take a moment. Don't feel pressured to answer impulsively. Take a nice deep breath. And as you take control of the moment, you remember, you are an incredible person and you are not your job. Your worth has nothing to do with how much money you make. If the conversation gets weird and awkward and uncomfortable, guess what? That's okay. You're having a human interaction and a human experience, and those don't always go like we want or plan. And that's okay. Just roll with it. Laugh at yourself and your awkwardness. Laugh at them too. It's fine. Just keep on keeping on. So whether you're looking for work or not looking for work because you're still in burnout, or work as a coffee shop owner, or as a high school principal, or a plumber, or a volunteer, or a pet sitter, what's most important is that you are doing what you can do at this time given the circumstances you're in. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please, please, please subscribe and like, and I hope this helps you in your neurodiverse universe.